Okay, I think we're live. We'll give everybody just a few minutes to get in on here, and we'll get started. I'll play into tune while we wait. Hello everybody. Hope the internet works good for us this evening. I know last week I had some trouble with the internet, but so far it's working good, so we'll hope it continues to. Oh, I see all kinds of people getting in here from Georgia, Missouri, Indiana, let's see, Texas, Virginia, I think saying South Carolina, Ohio. Everybody keep coming in, and we're going to start talking about tomato juice in just a minute. And I've had some good tomato juice and some bad tomato juice experience this week. And I want to ask you all some questions about if you've done any, and about your opinion on something. So we'll play you one more tune while everybody's coming in here. Okay, we got about 45 people in here, so I'll lay the banjo down a minute and get started with what I want to ask you about. Okay, we've been making a lot of tomato juice, and we've made some really good, probably the best we ever had tomato juice. And the way we done it, I'm gonna show you first the way that I do it now, or the way I have been doing it, and then show you what I thought was going to be an easy way. Okay, first, I don't know if you all make tomato juice or not, but first we wash your tomatoes, we cut them up in a big pot, and we let the pot start heating up, and then start making water, and I take like a masher and we mash them in the pot. Well, then we take and we run them through this strainer. It's just a wire mesh strainer. You can see how little the mesh is kind of here. And I take a spatula and just push them through this strainer, and it leaves all the skin and seeds in here. Well, this was pretty fast, and we made several gallons this way. Well, I dug in the building, and I found my food mill, and I'll give it a try. And I've got 2 of these, and I did not like using this whatsoever. And you crank this, and it's supposed to mash the tomatoes in here and leave the seeds and the skin. But I had nothing but trouble out of this thing. It made juice, but it seemed like my tomatoes just went round and round and round, and I spent hours, I think, trying to crank this thing to get it right, and I still ended up pushing with a spatula. So this, it works, but it's very slow. So I was on Facebook the other day. By the way, if you you got a Facebook, we got a Facebook page, Fluty Homestead, if you want to check us out. But I bought this contraption for $20 on Facebook, and it's a big Champion commercial juicer, and it is heavy duty. I bet it weighs 25 pounds. But this thing, it's got this blade on it, and it just pulverizes anything you drop in there, buddy. It shreds it and shoots out the juice. But I want your opinion. Has anybody on here ever used this thing for tomato juice? The batch that I made by hand with the strainer is perfect, and it tastes perfect. I put a teaspoon of salt in my jars, and you can drink it. We drink it by the quart. But this baby here, I made a batch, and the internet said to put my tomatoes in raw, and I just washed them, cut them up, put them in raw, and put the plunger down, and it shot it out, and the juice comes out the bottom. But the tomato juice kind of stinks, and they were good tomatoes, and I don't know if it just was from there being so much, if it ground up the skin with it too, or what the problem was. But this thing, I don't think it's supposed to chop it up and then strain in here, and it's supposed to help strain it out too. But it did not. I mean, it weighed a lot of juice. I had 8.5 quarts when I done this, but I just was not happy with the taste whatsoever, and I wondered if anybody on here has ever used one of these. This is just a regular juicer. It's not a strainer. It don't squeeze the juice. I guess it squeezes it, but it pulverizes it first. And if anybody here's had good luck making tomato juice with one of these contraptions, I bought it because it was so cheap, and I think it's well worth a lot more money than that. I think new they're about $300 or $400 for a Champion juicer. But I've ordered, I think it was delivered maybe today, I've ordered the strainer kit for a KitchenAid mixer. My mother has a KitchenAid mixer. So I'm going to try to get the other, you have to have the meat grinder attachment to have the gear part. I think I'm going to try that. But let me see. Somebody says they always blanch their tomatoes, skin them, then cut and mash. Then somebody says maybe boiling affects the juice. Seeds and skin will change taste. Also, cooking a bit sweetens them a little bit. I thought y'all give me your opinion on this. I thought about cooking my tomatoes like I usually did, and then running them through the juicer, and trying it one more time before I ditch this thing or sell it. So if you see this thing for sale on Facebook, you'll know why I was not happy with it. It's a good machine, don't get me wrong. It's probably one of the best juicers I ever seen go. I mean, as soon as you stick it in there, the juice it's out. But for tomato juice, I just don't know if it's what I'm looking for. But you can, the lady who I got it from, her mother used to grind carrots and everything up in this thing, and they didn't cook them or nothing. They just dropped the carrots in and bam, made the carrot juice. Let's see. Yep, several people on here saying to blanch them first, maybe. So I may try that one more time. I haven't videoed it yet because I'm still I was wanting to master it a little better before I video it, because I don't want to tell y'all something that's wrong. But it just don't taste good. I'm gonna have to probably, I hate to say it, but I'm probably gonna have to get rid of 8 quarts of tomato juice that I made with this, because it simply is bad. You can't stand to drink it. So, like I said, the internet, every video I found, people using this, they put them in raw. So that's what I did, but I think that was my problem. Somebody asked me if I think something inside the machine that making the juice smell funny. I'm not sure on that. I washed it really good, and it was really clean. I know it's kind of stained from use, but I think she's made a lot of carrot juice with it. And but I mean, It smells nice and clean, and it smelled clean when I done it because I washed it really well, the same as I do all my other juice and stuff. So I really don't know what my trouble was on that. But somebody says try bleaching the machine. Oh, I'll bleach it this time. And I think the KitchenAid strainer is going to be the way to go because it don't pulverize. This thing, you know, it emulses everything you put in it. It'll just grind it up and spit the pulp out the end and the juice out the bottom. But the KitchenAid mixer, it looks like it is like the hand crank strainer. It's got the spiral like a corkscrew, and then it pushes it through the strainer and squeezes it rather than chopping it all up. So I've got a jar. This has been sitting for a week now. This is a jar that I've made using just the strainer. I pushed it through here with a spatula after they were cooked. I cooked these till they were almost to a boil and all the tomatoes was soft. And I pushed them through here and it caught all the seeds and stuff. Alright, there's this one. Then this is what I made with the Champion Champion juicer. You can see there's more water in this. And this it smells awful. So, hello somebody from Brazil. I think you're the first, I don't see you. I don't know if I can pronounce your name right without making myself look like a fool. But I think you're the first person we ever had from Brazil on the channel. Let's see. Several people said maybe the seeds and the peels can affect the taste. Somebody says could be something rotten in my device. And I think it says Smiley says that they have the KitchenAid strainer and it works great. She used for apples and blackberries. So I think that's what I'm going to be trying next time. But I mean, you can see looking at it. Besides, there's more water in here. There's not a lot of difference. I mean, I don't know. And when you shake it up, they both look pretty well the same. But I don't know. I also, this here, I'm not sure if I wish you could smell it over the internet. I thought maybe I had a bad tomato that I let slip by me, but we're very picky about what we put in the jar, so I don't know. Let's see. Somebody says 2 kinds of juicers. Yep, yeah, he's saying there about this juicer chews up the vegetables before it puts out the juice. So I think that's my problem. I think the Champion juicer, it's a Champion juicer. It does a very fine job, but it just ain't what I need for tomatoes. And I ain't no health freak, and I ain't gonna be juicing carrots and kale and stuff like that. But this juice that we done by hand, it took us probably, by the time you chop them, I start my heat in the pot, it probably took 30 minutes to get them hot. And then you have to mash them, and that probably takes another 30 minutes or so. And then after that, I cook this. I bring this back up to a boil after I strain it, and I boil it for about 5 minutes, I think. And then I put it in a jar and can it for 45 minutes. But this here, I mean, I could drink this whole jar right now. It's awesome. But this is the way to go so far until I get my KitchenAid. So if any of y'all have any tips on this thing, I'll show it to you one more time. And if you've used it for anything good, let me know. I know it's worth $20. I mean, I don't think you can find one at any better price than $20. Or if anybody's wanting to buy one, it'll be for sale more than likely. Let's see. Somebody says keep it to make apple juice. Has anybody else had any experience with the KitchenAid juicer? I'm not sure if that's the best way to go. I looked at a Victorio, I think was the brand of it, and it was a hand crank, but I'm not sure about that. Let's see. It is a very good juicer for celery, apples, kale, cucumbers, and ginger. Yeah, from what I read on the computer, I mean, for the health world and for juice and that kind of stuff, it's top of the line. Somebody here says they have the Omega juicer and love it. I ain't really, this is the only juicer I ever tried. I ain't never been into juicing anything. Let's see, has anybody got any questions on here? Lay your lids and rings beside the stove and let them get warm before putting them on the jars. Now on that line, I always put my lids in a pan of water, and I get them really hot before I put them on the jar. So they're always good to go. Let's see. Been using the KitchenAid for 30 years, never had a problem. Probably strips too much of the pulp. Yeah, I think that was my trouble there. I didn't see your name there, it said that. But I think that's the problem. There's too much of the seeds and too much of the skins get in there. Gary B says, I got company. Somebody just pulled in my driveway. Yeah, that's a good friend of mine, Kevin. He's been working on my weed eater for me. Let's see. Kimberly says there's an old steel hand crank that you've fed tomatoes in at the top, and works similar to a meat grinder. After that process, you would sieve them through a smaller mesh strainer. Yeah, I've seen those, but I have not tried one of them. Somebody else says they used to use the Victorio strainer, and it was great. If you boil your juice good before you can, it won't separate nearly as much. I may need to be boiling it a little longer. This is my first year at really making tomato juice, so we'll see. It's kind of experimental. What type of tomatoes did you use, Vincent said. We used about every kind we had. There's about any kind of red tomatoes we had. Howdy, Kevin.
Yeah, I guess you seen me. I stuck your trimmer back in your shed.
Okay. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I put a different prop on Kenny's pontoon, so he's gonna see what that'll do.
All right, that sounds good.
I think that'll fix it. We'll find out.
Let me pause it.